Okay, so let's go through this question. Right? So we are asked to find the values of theta in the interval of negative 180 all the way to 180 inclusive. Right? So if you see the square bracket means you include both negative 180 and 80, which satisfy the equation given as such. Okay, so first thing we must make the equation to be fully in terms of either sine or cosine. So meaning, for example, since I get a sine square, right? So meaning that maybe I can make use of an equation that we learned before, sine square plus cosine square equal to 1. Then you make sine square the subject, meaning 1 minus sine square to 1 minus cosine square. You sub this thing right inside this part. So of course you do a manipulation, you will eventually get something like this. So that's the first step. Okay, the next step is actually, you can see that actually it's a quadratic equation, but sad to say this one we cannot do the factorization because it can't be factorized. So mainly we can use the quadratic equation, quadratic formula. So 2x squared minus 3x minus 1 equal to 0. So you just do the negative b plus minus. So okay, negative b plus minus square root b squared. So b squared is 9 minus 4 ac over 2a, right? So 2a is 4. So meaning that you will get something like 3 plus minus square root 4, 8 plus 9, 17. So square root 17 divided by 4. So you get two values. So for example, right, cosine, the first cosine theta is equal to 3 plus square root 17 over 4. So of course this is a positive number. And then the second value, right, is here. Cosine theta equal to 3 minus square root 17 over 4. So if you do the calculation for this, you realize that, let me do the calculation. You realize that it's actually a negative number. So this negative number, this is positive number. Okay, so it's time to actually solve for each of the equation. So for example, okay, we are asked to solve for the thing, right? So they say theta is from negative 180 degree to 180 degree. Okay, so I do the positive part first. So okay, let's determine the quadrant. So of course it is cosine positive, meaning that we are interested in the first quadrant. So first quadrant, and of course the last quadrant, because you realize that it's negative 180. So negative 180 means that, for example, right, you rotate in this direction. So of course you can see we are interested in this thing as well. So means that I'm interested in the fourth quadrant. But for the fourth quadrant, you must rotate in the opposite direction. Okay, then the second is actually to determine your basic angle. So to determine basic angle, very simple one. So you just put cosine, you change the theta to alpha. Then after that, you just calculate. So for example, right, you just put 3 plus square root 17 divided by 4, which is as square as saying about 1.78. Okay, so I think one good thing is this. So okay, you try to put cosine inverse 1.78, cosine inverse 1.78. You realize that it's actually a syntax error. So means there's no answer for this. Let me check. Yeah, so it's a syntax error. So means this one is being rejected. Okay, so what is left is actually the cosine theta equal to negative, right? Okay, so first, same thing, I want to determine the quadrant. So it's negative value. So first is from negative 180. Okay, so first we do the ASTC. So let's talk about the ASTC. Right? So cannot be A, must be in the S territory. And of course, I rotate in the other direction, right? So must be in the third quadrant as well. Because this A, S, T, C. Okay, so the next step is actually to determine the basic angle. Meaning, for example, cosine alpha equal to, that's the thing first. 3 minus divide by 4. Okay, so this whole thing right here has a value, for example, right, cosine theta has a value of negative 0.28077646. So to determine the basic angle, you just ignore the negative, just put the number will do 0.28077646. Then just do the cosine inverse. Cosine inverse 0.28077646. So you'll get a basic angle of roughly 73.7 degree, 1 dB. Okay, so now let's determine the theta. Okay, so let's do the positive one first. So for example, right, we are interested in this this S territory. So means you rotate in this direction. So okay, so this thing. So let's let's draw the angle first. So this whole thing is theta. What about the basic angle? The basic angle is always respect to the horizontal line. So means it's like that, 73.7 degree. So of course you can see apparently this thing will be equal to this angle right here. So you simply just use theta equal to 180, right, minus 73.7. So it's about 106.3, give or take. That's the first answer already lah. Okay, what about the second answer? Second answer, you must rotate in the other direction, meaning like that. Because it's negative 180, right? So you rotate in this direction. Of course, I must rotate until here. So this will be negative theta. Because if you rotate in the other direction, your theta, you must include a negative sign associated to it. Okay, but of course, don't forget there's a... Okay, I want to write down the basic angle, right? So the basic angle is 73.7. So basic angle, don't put negative to it. Then you'll get the answer already. So means that, okay, so this thing, there's an angle of 106.3. So means your angle theta, right, is equal to negative theta equal to 106.3 degrees. So theta is equal to negative 106.3 degrees. So these are the two answers. One will be 106.3, the other will be negative 106.3. So yeah, so these are the two answers. So apparently for this, right, because you realize that this part here, right, this thing itself is actually 1.78. So cosine theta cannot be more than 1. At most is 1 only. So if you found out that, actually cosine theta is equal to a number that's more than 1, definitely you must reject it. So that's how we do this example.